So it's 11:37 and I'm still at the garage because I had a problem with the oil pump. So I bought this thrust plate kit. Great thing to put on. Used it 2 times already. Did not work out this time. The good news is there's really nothing wrong with this setup here. The original thing, it's in very good shape. I never had an oil pressure problem. This particular car, this setup was pretty clean. Problem is, fucking thing is bent. I put this thing in and I'm turning it. It won't fucking turn. I loosen the bolts, it won't turn. And then I really loosen them and I finally get it to turn a little bit. Barely tighten them up. Still won't fucking turn. And basically the new gears were digging in. I used a micrometer and I tested the depth to make sure that the gears weren't messed up. And it's exactly the same. So now I am putting it together without it, because in my case it really wasn't needed. I just said, okay, let's do this. It's good. It's the right thing to do, Car is old, and instead of eventually wearing out this aluminum cover, it'll never wear it out because it'll be riding on a hardened steel thrust plate. And I'm pretty pissed because this thing has taken me a couple hours to fucking figure out. And, every time you do this, you fuck with the gaskets. And good thing I have a gasket that came with the thrust plate kit, the gasket that came with the oil pump kit, and a gasket that came with the timing cover kit. So no matter what, I was covered. But this should work. Be nice if I can see. I'm fucking blind. But basically, just this little bit of tightness. And these original screws here, they're not like that on the newer motors. And the thrust plate kit was good because it came with different size bolts because it makes up for the thickness of the thrust plate. But now I got to put the original ones back in. And I don't particularly care for flathead screwdriver screws to go and hold something like an oil pump, but it was obviously working for 51 years, 52 years, 53 years actually. So now, before I was just barely tightening them all the way down. I got all 6 snug, and I'll find a bigger screwdriver to get a better wing on them. But basically it wasn't even this tight before, and the shaft would not move. Now I put this in here. Come on. I don't know if it's me. Let's try this broken screwdriver. Wow. I really don't care for the way this fit, but I just hope nothing happened to it. It does move, where it did not move at all before. I also have grease. I'm not using petroleum jelly because I jerked off with the rest of it. No, I'm kidding. I normally would use petrol. Okay, now I'm getting the oil in there, and being that I've touched it 100 times, there might have been a little tiny bit of grit. I'm okay with this. I put a little bit of PP Blaster in there with it, just to make the grease a little thinner, but that's definitely, it's better than it was when I first started. I don't see it going to be a problem. Almost 12 o'clock. I think it's time to go home. I'll retighten that tomorrow morning, and I think I should be fine with that. Good night all.